Nice. If you're in a fix and you need a tradesperson in a hurry, it's tempting to think that there have never been better options. The internet, my friends, means that we have the illusion of a wealth of willing local workers just a couple of clicks away. The reality is that a few firms are duking it out at the top of the search pages for your custom. If your cursor lands on our rogues tonight, I'm afraid the results can be clicking miserable. The Scottish Highlands. I love this place. If only I had a bit more local knowledge. Look, it's a genuine Scottish person.
All right, mate.
Yeah, you're not Scottish, are you?
Okay, then who?
Not Scottish, just deeply offensive.
Why, aye, man?
What's that, like Geordie? Yeah?
That as well.
Oh, OK. Let's put this to the test, then. Can you tell me where the nearest station is?
I'll just check the internet for you, Gov.
Ah, that's no good. Anyone can do that. You see, if somebody claims to be local, they should be just that. Otherwise, they're leading you down the low road. Go on, get lost. And behold, on that low road, our emergency response group, also known as ERG, led by head honcho Lawrence O'Marney. They claim to have glaziers, locksmiths, plumbers, electricians, all sorts of traders, in fact, on hand to react 24/7 to your domestic disaster.
So where are they from, then?
It's a very good question, fake Scotsman. If you look at this one, it looks like they're based in Coventry. However, in this one, they give an address in Brighton. This one says they're the leading plumber in Cambridge.
Oh, Cambridge. It's nice there.
It is, but they're not based there. No, they're based in Essex, but they own dozens of websites for businesses that all give the impression they are a local firm. It's something boss Lawrence knows he shouldn't be doing, as he's been told not to do it before by the Advertising Standards Authority. But ERG's problems don't end there. We've been contacted by other unhappy customers. In fact, there are quite a lot of them. So we have to use a thing that we like to call a split screen. All of these people were visited by an ERG trader.
And he actually made the problem worse. We had water coming through the ceiling and he left us at the end of his session here with no working toilet.
And on the third visit, they fixed it within 20 minutes. For this, I received an invoice for £746, including £247 for a part that you can get online for £50.
He said I needed a new part and he left, and then he didn't come back again.
They sent a plumber round who didn't have basic equipment.
When I complained, the company were rude and intimidating.
The volume has been deafening. Surely not all of their engineers have got it wrong independently. Surely it's no coincidence that ERG is taking a cut on these jobs. Surely it must come back to the man in the middle. What do you think, Shirley? Shirley's not sure. It's the same story online. ERG sending out the wrong trader with the wrong kit and charging hundreds of pounds. We need to know more about the company's MO. We need some inside info. So we're sending someone in, and she's not called Shirley.
Oh, is this ERG?
Yes, it is.
She's called Alex, and she's got a job at ERG HQ, working in a department eerily called Control, a call centre where staff book ERG's on-hand engineers to jobs for their highly regarded customers.
She's a rude little so I should have had an extra £100 on.
Okay then.
Yes, charming. Manners aside, what we really want to know is how the call centre matches its team of 24/7 engineers to the customer.
Yeah, I'm going to see if it'll be ERG that are coming out, and the engineer's name is Roger. Lovely.
So they say it's ERG coming out to a job. Is that really the case?
So have you got any of like engineers that work for
the company?
They're all sort of subcontractors, so they'll have their own companies and then they'll work for other companies as well.
You know, when they turn up, do they have to be like, oh, hi, I'm from ERG, or are they allowed to say, like, their own companies?
We want to say that they're working on behalf of us.
So, in fact, ERG don't have their own engineers at all. They check a database of contractors to see who's free, and if they're all busy, then they go back to something so basic you could do it yourself.
We just find them over Yale and like gas safe if it's like a gas job.
Yeah, it's really easy.
If you can't get a job out, you have to go onto like Yellow Pages and gas safe and things like that, and like sourcing engineers to come on our books.
So, not so much a team of traders specially selected for their ability and quality of service, and more whoever they can find that's free.
Is that hard?
Yeah. It can be hard. It's like, it depends on the engineer, because most of them, they'll just put the phone down now.
Really? Why?
Because they don't want to do this type of work.
Traders reluctant to do the job could be because they only get 50% of the cost of the job.
We always aim to give them 50% and under. If we can get it as low as possible under 50%, it'll be more amazing, to be fair.
While they haggle to get the cheapest traders they can, you'll pay top whack, 125 quid an hour, plus VAT, plus a hefty markup on parts. That can be the price of an emergency call-out. You'd expect someone amazing.
It just makes more money for the company, really.
Okay.
So, not local, not expert, not emergency. ERG is falling at so many of its own hurdles, it must have very bruised shins indeed. But the internet can only hide the truth for so long. When we come back, hear the excuses the call centre uses to fob off unhappy customers, including the old dead cat line. Emergency Response Group are based in Southend, Essex. Please don't mistake them for other Essex-based companies called ERG, or indeed companies called ERG who might appear to be from anywhere else in the UK. Part of their MO, you see, is to make you think they're near you when they're often not. However, we're undercover at their HQ, and we know they're in Southend because that is what is written on our mole's train ticket. And that, my friends, is journalism in action.
Hey, right.
After a few hours undercover, it's pretty obvious some of the claims ERG are making are just not true. Our mole Alex is not booking ERG's team of 24/7 on-hand specialist engineers because they aren't always available. Instead, she's scrambling around looking for any trader who's free.
I was just wondering if you're available this afternoon for a job. All right, no worries.
It's not always easy to find someone at short notice, not that ERG will tell you that.
Right, I've got one more to delay.
A customer has been told an engineer will be with them in the next 2 hours. But that's not true. Uh-oh.
When is the engineer booked in for?
He's not at the moment.
Right, so that's why we've got it delayed.
So, the search for a tradesman begins after you've booked the job and handed over your bank details. That's why they call it control, maybe, because they're in control.
So you know, once you delay them, do you then try and book an engineer for it?
Yeah, I'm now gonna try and find an engineer that will hopefully do this. But it now gives us like a little bit more time, so we're not as rushed to get it done.
Of course, if you're a customer, you'll think the trader is on the way. But if ERG struggle then to find someone for the job, what are they going to do? I mean, come up with an excuse, I suppose. Alex, ask about the excuses.
Yeah. What like excuses do you have to use? Anything. What one do you use?
When I first started, I used to say that my cat had died.
You should never ever lie about a cat dying. It's one of the worst things you can do.
Hi, I'm calling from ERG Facilities, the electricians. I've just had a phone call from my electrician, and unfortunately he actually fell off a ladder in the early hours of this morning.
The number one lie on a heating job is actually stock on a commercial gas leak. So here's the lie of all lies.
I thought the lie of all lies was that the dog ate your homework. They even have a system to keep track of all of these tall tales.
I even put excuses there, like yesterday I think I used an excuse to the engineer had a family emergency with his kid. It is really bad to use that, but Yeah, if you just put all of that in the op knows, then it lets everyone else in the office know what you said.
Right.
It gets a bit difficult to find, like, to remember what excuse you've used when you use like 100 a day.
Flipping heck, that's difficult. You know, it's much easier just to be honest. But even when ERG do find a trader, they may not be the best person for that job. And that means you have to pay for a second visit by someone that knows what they're doing.
It's a block toilet, one flush and it goes down slowly, water right to the top. I found a plumber who's willing to do it, but he's saying if it's in the drains, then he hasn't got drain rods, so it's fine for him to go, even though he might not be able to complete the work.
And only do what a plumber would do. And then when he can't unblock it because it's a drainage problem, we'll charge the customer and then we'll send a drainage engineer out and then charge him for drainage.
Right, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So is that normal? Like, you know, if an engineer goes to a job and they can't do it for whatever reason, do you still charge the customer for the time the engineer was there and then, right, yeah, cool.
Don't know about you, but I, as a customer, want one visit by someone that can get the job done. Pretending to be a local company, pretending to have a team of engineers, pretending that someone's on their way when they're not, making fake excuses when someone misses an appointment. I mean, it all sounds a bit misleading. Mark Weston.
There's a set of consumer regulations called the Consumer Protection from Unfair Trading Regulations, and that says lots of things, but basically, in a nutshell, don't be misleading. And you can be misleading in one of two ways. You either can say things which are untrue, or you can leave things out which people should know, as a result of which they do business with you. Now, in this case, they seem to have left two things out. Number one, they're not telling people that the engineers are not their own employees. They are actually subcontracting out. People should know that. Secondly, they're giving the impression that they are local, and they're not. And if people are doing business because they think they're local and they're not, then that's illegal.
But Lawrence O'Marney is making another group of people cross. People with spanners. He's run two previous businesses similar to ERG that both went into liquidation, leaving £600,000 of debt, half of which was owed to tradesmen he failed to pay for jobs. He's the man in the middle of a right old mess. Well, you'll be pleased to know that Lawrence O'Marney is about to star in a reality show called Deeply Uncomfortable in about 10 minutes. Now, Nikki Fox, what's in your inbox? Emergency response group come from Essex. Their boss, Lawrence O'Marney, is in our sights. That means he's got a van full of car park, but he doesn't know it yet. ERG have left a trail of unhappy customers who've paid a high price for an emergency trader only to find the problems don't always get solved. It's time to put that to the boss, Lawrence O'Marney. So we are here on an industrial estate, kind of used to that by now, and waiting to speak to Lawrence about the businesses that he's had which have affected people on both sides of the chain. That's the thing about being a middleman. He's let down customers and he's had work done by tradespeople and then they don't get paid for it. Go. Lawrence, Matt, all right, BBC Road Traders, how are you?
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Do you think when it comes to your third business, misleading people about the... Yeah, let's go. Do you want to come up, guys? Yeah. He invites us into his office. First up, why do their websites say they're local companies when they ain't?
Yeah, that's it. That's in advertising because obviously you need relevance for keywords. So if someone types in, I want a glazier in Chelmsford, the website is keyword specific, so it'll say glazier Chelmsford. It's for better ranking on websites. If you
Lawrence, I don't care about your ranking on a website as a customer. Okay. I care about seeing on the website something that explains accurately to me what I'm getting. And what I'm actually getting is a company based in Southend that sits here and goes through local directories from all over the country and finds people out of the blue sometimes.
Do you think I'm the only company that does that?
I don't care about that either, Lawrence. You're the one I'm talking to right now. Okay. So if you're going to say I'm misleading people but everyone else is doing it...
I'm not misleading anybody.
You are misleading people, and you've actually said it yourself. If you are going to say that I'm misleading people and so's everybody else, yeah, that's not a justification. I'm sitting here with you right now, and I've seen your website and the way it operates. I know...
Which website? 700 websites.
You have got 700 websites, Lawrence, which is another thing that, again, we can look into that.
Because
why
there's
not
700 websites because they're keyword specific for advertising. That's why. They all say the same thing. They all say, if you need a plumber, give us a ring, we'll give you a price, we'll get someone out and we'll get the job done for you.
The effect on your customers is that they will look at it and they will say to themselves, it's a glazer-based. What you just said is, it might. So you've admitted there that somebody might be misled by your website into thinking they're getting a tradesperson local to them.
If I thought someone was being misled by the website, I would change it like I have done on numerous occasions.
Next, why do they mislead customers into thinking they have a team of on-hand engineers?
The impression you give on your website is that you have to hand a group of qualified and checked engineers.
We do, 7,000 on our system.
But you don't always use them. If you can't get those out, you send somebody else.
Then we source a new engineer, which would get their qualifications and insurance details and everything else before we send them to that house.
I'm getting them from another directory. You say that to them as a matter of course. So it's clear to them this is something they could do themselves. Do you make that clear in those phone calls?
Well, I don't think I need to because
you absolutely do.
So they phone up. Okay, so they phone me up and say, you know, we need a plumber out. Yeah. We want a plumber out within the hour because we've got an emergency.
Send one of your highly trained and checked engineers, because that's what on the website. That's the assumption during that phone call is you're sending one of your team.
And 95% of the time we send one of our engineers, which we've got on the system.
But sending out tradesmen they don't know may explain why we've had so many complaints.
You can't say with utter confidence that you know who's going out to do the work. And the level of complaints we've got about your businesses is
what, honestly, my business specifically, or these type of businesses as a whole?
No, your business. The businesses you've
just
run.
My business.
Your businesses. The last 3 businesses that you've run.
You're saying you say I shouldn't try. I should just go and get a job in McDonald's. The first business I had, which was the same similar business to this, we had account work with lots of companies. They went into liquidation, which pushed me into liquidation. There's not a lot I can do about that. That's normal business. You know, we don't do this business to rip people off. There's not, you know, I've been doing this business a long time.
Well, after 45 minutes, we finally agree on a few things.
Okay, the 2 things I think we can learn today is the first one is that your websites, whenever they give the impression...
I will change them. I will change them.
And the other thing we need to do is whenever you're using tradesmen that you haven't checked, that have come out of a directory, you either need to make that clear or just not do that.
Of course.
Nice, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You know, it seems pretty obvious to me that if you're running a business as a middleman, then you make it very clear to both parties what you're actually doing. And if all you're doing on occasion is looking in a directory to find somebody you've never met before and send them into somebody's home and not telling people that's what's happening, that's unacceptable. I think Lawrence knows that now, and hopefully we're going to see some changes. Emergency Response Group maintain they abide by consumer protection regulations and do not mislead customers. They say that the customer does get a local tradesperson to do the job, and whilst they do give ERG's address on all websites, they say the location of ERG is irrelevant to the customer because they only speak to them on the phone. They add that they are set up to deliver an emergency service and in roughly 80% of cases meet the customer's requested time frame. They also say that in 98% of cases they send one of their pre-check contractors. In the other 2%, they only use people with the right qualifications. They never charge a customer for a visit in which the problem is not fixed.